Can your man lead you even when he's learning how to? That's a convicting question right there, because us women, we like information, we like details, because it provides a sense of security and stability. And this isn't bad, however, it can come from the wrong place. When we know all the details and we got the who, what, when, where, how, why, that's when we will determine if we move or not. But is that what it actually means to be led? When we have this mentality, we will unknowingly, number one, put a standard of perfection on that man. And number two, we will not give him room to grow as a leader. When you read the Bible, it says God told Abraham to leave his father and his mother's house and go into a land that he will show him. Now, I don't want to focus so much on Abraham. I want us to look at the life of Sarah. She followed her man even when she did not have that much information. And that must be something that we commend her for, right? So the revelation that she got out of this, the revelation that she had, and which I believe many of us women need to grab on hold to, is, can your trust be so deeply embedded in God that the trust that you have for your man is in the knowing that God will lead him?
This was such a phenomenal video. I love the fact that this woman actually brought up the Bible and mentioned how Sarah had to just trust God that God will actually lead her husband Abraham to the land that he knows not. Abraham didn't know where he was even going. And this is why this is important, right? Because some of you women in particular, you want your man to be 100% made up. Now I want to ask you this, right? Aren't we all growing? I mean, us as men, when we meet you women, are you 100% made up? No. But you want us to actually pour into you, teach you, allow you to grow. But yet you don't offer that same level of grace onto your man. He's not allowed to grow. You see, this is one thing that you guys have to understand, right? Majority of you, even if your parents had you when they were in their 20s, right? By the time that you were knowledgeable of what relationships were, or you were actually pursuing a relationship, let's say you were in your teens, right? That means your parents, were in their 30s. Think about that. They were in their 30s by the time you actually had an understanding of what relationships was, what your ideal man is. If some of you, maybe your father is that figure for you, right? So now here you are, by the time you get in your 20s, you're measuring this man that you want to be with to your father who was already in his 30s and probably damn near in his 40s. Your father is a mature man. He has actually went through this journey called life, and he's improving day by day. And here you are trying to put those same expectations on this man who's in his 20s. It's nonsensical. I could say the same thing in reverse, right? By the time I came on the scene, my mom was in her 30s, right? She was 36. By the time I had any understanding of what a relationship really was, she was already in her 40s, maybe even 50s. So now I'm married and I have my wife, she's in her 20s. How would it be fair for me to try to compare my wife, who's in her 20s, to my mom, who I understood her in her 40s, 50s. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. My mom already has a bunch of skills, already has a certain mindset that is further along, further ahead than my wife. And that doesn't mean my wife is inadequate. No, she's a good woman. But I understand that she has to grow. One day she will become that woman in her 30s that has all that wisdom and knowledge, but you're not already made up. That's the whole point. You got to enjoy the journey rather than trying to rush to the destination. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but type in the comment section if you guys understand where I'm coming from. I mean, it's the same thing. Like back in the day, women didn't even care about men who had children, right? Now I see it in the comment sections all over the place. They would prefer men that didn't have children and what have you, right? Okay, fine. So if you want this man who doesn't have children, and let's say you want to marry this man, you want to be the first person to give that man a child, right? Okay, fine. This man, do you understand that he's going to have to actually grow into becoming a father? I mean, there is no book. Let me know about this book. Because, I mean, I've asked many wise men before me, how to be a proper father, how to, what's the key to a relationship. And they could give you answers, but nothing is going to actually teach you as actually walking it out, your actual experience. You see, the wisdom can help you avoid certain mistakes, but that is life. You're going to make your own mistakes regardless. And that's part of the journey. But here you are, you're here knocking this man down because he's not 100% made. No. Everybody has to grow. And you as a mom, that's going to be your first time as a mom. We expecting you, to be perfect? No. If you ask about the testimony of every single mature woman, they learn over time how to become a better mom. They learn over time how to become a better wife. They learn these things over time. And it's the same thing for the men. So I love this video that this woman made. I'm going to probably finish off with this one last statement. There is no testimony without a test. You see, what some of you have to realize is that in order for you to even have a testimony, you're going to have to go through some shit. You're going to have to go through some trials, some temptations, some tests, some trying situations before you can even have the testimony. So, and why is that important? Because like the Bible says, when you are strengthened, now go strengthen your brother. So in the situation for you sisters, I'm talking about brother in the, general sense. It means both men and women, right? So you women, as you get older over time and you went through your test, then you will have a testimony worth sharing. So now when these younger women come up to you and they say, oh, I don't understand how to deal with my husband, we're going through yada, yada, yada. You can say, girl, I've been there. This is what you need to do. This is how you actually become a good mom. This is how you actually become a good wife. You give them some wisdom, but that wisdom will not automatically be downloaded into you. No, this is wisdom you're going to get over time as you're going through the journey, as you're going through the test. And maybe you could just offer that young girl, right? That young woman. You could tell them, girl, don't give up on your relationship. Don't file for divorce. It's part of the journey. Everybody's going to have ups and downs. But that's why you need to endure. I mean, it's so crazy. I love this video because that woman is really dropping some facts. And I hope that some of y'all can actually pay attention to this. Like, both men and women, I don't care who you are, even the men in the Bible, quote unquote righteous men, if you read the accounts, every single one of them had their own failures. And you know what's so beautiful about what the Bible says? It says a righteous man falls 7 times and gets back up. Think about that. If a righteous man falls down 7 times, could you imagine all the other people? Could you imagine? No. You see, here's the thing. Everybody fails, but it's up to you to keep on with the journey. Hold their hand up. Hold their hand up like they held the hand up of Moses. Hold that person's hands up because, again, just because they're a leader, just because they're put in a place of authority, that doesn't mean that they subject, or rather, that doesn't mean that they're not subject to failure. Everybody has to learn and grow. I don't know who this message is for, but I hope this blesses y'all. Anyway, with that being said, Nick over and out. The message sent. Jesus is King, y'all.